Hello everyone! It is Wednesday! Who is joining us tonight? Who is popping in first on this more-ish than 8 day? Jennifer's in first. Kitty, Dennis. Good to have you all with us. Great to have everybody here. Hey, yeah, more-ish tonight. There's a lot going on tonight, so time didn't work the way I wanted to today, Kitty. Hey, Suki, Dana, Adele and Dazzle, Alexa. Great to have you all with us tonight. Love that everybody's tuning in. Nancy's with us. Jennifer Dodds. Bet you Jeff's not far behind in that package. Great to have you all with us tonight. Michelle in Virginia. How is everybody doing tonight? Hello, Miss Albuquerque. Grand Poobah. Hey, Park and Bonnie, great to have you with us. Great to have everybody with us. We're moving this along quick tonight, even though I am late, because we got to get to the meat. There's a lot of meat tonight. Thank you. You know, I think I got this particular Under Armour shirt from Cha-Ching outside in Millersville, Maryland. I think I bought this particular one from. That is a separate story. Yes, it was a more relaxed day today. I actually got out and had lunch with the family out today. It was very nice. Hey, Rick. Hey, Angela. Great to have you with us. What is everybody grateful for this Wednesday? This Hump Day! Hump Day! What are we grateful for? Hey, from West Palm Beach, the Peanut Gallery is in the house. Great to have you with us. Yes, it was very nice. We had lunch outside at a restaurant. They were serving it takeout style, but they had tables there so we could enjoy an open tab and a bar that would refill your drink. So it was good. It was nice to have some semi-normality a little bit. Although, granted, in normal times I still don't get out for lunch. But hey, what the heck. It was nice. What is everybody grateful for this Wednesday night? Tell me about it, people. I got to keep this program moving tonight. I got to keep everything moving. I'm already late, and I got to catch up. I got to make up 20 minutes here, people. So give me that grateful feeling. I know Kelly in Albuquerque is grateful she got her idol in, and we're going to talk about that later in the program. And no, she did not start a farm. So, but we'll talk about that later in the program. Not Kelly specifically, but we might as well use her as an example. She's a fine example. Hey, Leanne, cheers to you. Cheers, Leanne. I see you have your glass of wine. I have the scotch going here tonight. Vicky's joining us, but I'm not hearing what anybody's grateful for tonight. Is there nothing to be grateful for on this hump day? Nothing at all? Your team is gonna rock. They are going to be a hybrid machine, Michelle. Jennifer's still having good sales. Best business decision ever. I agree, Kelly. That's great. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you're sick, Alexa, but hold a puppy. And I certainly hope you don't have COVID. Hey, that's great, Bonnie, that you unloaded that delivery van. And being happy with the deal is the most important part. Ooh, boutique sales. That's very good. I like the boutique. Leanne, I do like that boutique. I have some clothes from there that I'm too small for now. Nice, Kitty. We sold a lot of furniture today. We sold more furniture than clothes today. I know that from the numbers I got today. But I am happy that sales continue to be strong, so I'm all good with it. I don't care how the money gets in the register as long as it gets there. The diversification between clothes and furniture some days is a very good thing. You are holding a puppy, Alexa. See? I knew. I knew. That makes everything better. It's almost like cake. Everything's better with a puppy and cake. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's just a lag behind. We've seen so far very strong sales in clothing and furniture coming a little behind, so it'll balance out. It's all good. It'll all get there, and that's what I'm seeing on a national basis, so that's a good thing. We will get to the other side, and we will continue to have strong growth. So that is very good. You know, it's just keeping everything moving. What are you doing, Max? I hear you running around. That's never a good thing. Okay, you can go over there. Sometimes when Max moves around, we have to wonder. All right, we start every night with the Good Morning, Good Night book. Every night. Me and Kitty got one of these. Tonight we are on, hang on a second, I can't see the page number without the glasses, Kitty. We are on page 128. Good morning. Your worst fears about yourself only need a drop of attention and sunlight to grow quick and wreck your whole shit. Clear away those weeds. Take time to harvest your strengths and your joys. Water and sunlight to the best you. That is our good morning today. No reading ahead, Kitty, to the good night. No reading ahead. Hey, Bailey and Russ are with us tonight. Good to have you both with us. That's awesome, Alicia. Love when they come in from the website. That is the part that a lot of people do not measure, Alicia, and it's a very important part of having a website. Websites drive, especially in this business, drive in-store traffic. Okay, they come in and they say, I want this. They show you their phone or they have a list. It's all good, okay? It does drive in-store traffic. And while I measured my direct website performance on what I ship, I also do track that indirect that is coming from that. It is a huge marketing piece and it does drive traffic to your store. So do not forget that. Let's keep on going here. We got a lot to cover today. The work of today is the history of tomorrow, and we are its makers. Juliette Lowe, the founder of the Girl Scouts. Target will give Juneteenth holiday pay to workers. Target is offering its workers a new holiday, complete with more pay. Juneteenth, the holiday which takes place Friday, marks the day in 1865 when a Union general told enslaved people in Texas they were free, and has come to serve as a broader commemoration. The move by the retail chain and major seller of groceries come as corporations in the space and from other parts of commerce take stances on the protests and political energies unleashed by the alleged murder by Minneapolis police of George Floyd. Target, like other retailers, has had stores damaged by rioters. We recognize the racial trauma that the country is experiencing now is not new, but throughout recent weeks there's been a sense that this time is and has to be different, said Target CEO. DoorDash to offer on-demand delivery of CVS products. The service debuted on June 15th in Dallas, Houston, Manhattan, and Philadelphia, with the Bronx, Brooklyn, San Francisco, and Boston to follow. Nationwide DoorDash delivery by July. The eligible product assortment includes beauty products like shampoo and makeup, health products such as over-the-counter medicine, household products like cleaning wipes and paper towels, and even some grocery items such as milk, cereal, and cookies. CVS said it also offers same-day delivery of non-prescription items through the delivery platform Instacart and Shipt, And in November, CVS worked with logistic companies UPS to carry out prescription deliveries in areas such as Cary, North Carolina. DoorDash, however, noted it is the only CVS partner so far to offer on-demand access, which means customers don't have to pre-schedule with time slots. Hey, Joanne! Great to have you with us. Neiman Marcus scales hurdles in bankruptcy financing and moves ahead with reorganization. Neiman Marcus received final approval from the U.S. Bankruptcy Court to access the next phase of $675 million in new financing to help it reorganize and start reopening stores. Financing agreements put in place with the majority of lenders had some contested issues, and those were worked out before the hearing Tuesday. When the judge approved the revised terms, the company will get access to $250 million now and $150 million more through early September. It originally had gotten $275 million up front when it filed on May 7th. The funds provide the retailer with ample liquidity to ensure business continuity as we gradually reopen our stores, invest in fall inventory, and fund the expansion of our digital offerings. We remain on track to emerge from this process in the fall of 2020, and business has been strong in recent weeks. Edwin, that is great news that your opening was great. People want you. They want your stores. They want what we have to offer. It is a good thing. Apple's reopening 74 more U.S. stores, including New York and Boston. And LA. After this week's moves, the majority of the company's 210 domestic stores will be back up and running. Contrary to this, Microsoft has not opened many of its stores and is keeping many shuttered as it decides how its reopening plans will play out, which is a contrast to what Apple is doing. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. JCPenney is also joining Target in recognizing Juneteenth as the company holiday. They will remain open for business, but employees working that day will receive additional holiday pay. Hey, Lisa, great to have you with us. J. Jill averts a path towards bankruptcy for now. J. Jill has serious doubts about its ability to meet its financial obligations going forward, but store closures and uncertainty around shopping habits after the pandemic raised substantial doubt, as we covered last night. However, its lenders have agreed to forbear on the loans until at least July 16th, as long as J. Jill meets certain conditions, according to a filing. J. Jill executives sounded upbeat note about its future. As of the end of May, it still had $60 million in cash, and about 85% of its stores have reopened. And the forbearance agreements will allow us to continue to work with our lenders on a course of action that will resolve the company's non-compliance and position the company to realize its long-term growth plans. So, and they have filed for an income tax refund of $7.7 million, tapping provisions under the federal stimulus measures enacted this spring to help businesses during the pandemic. So there's a lot of good. I like J. Jill. I've worked with them, truth in fact, I was a consultant for them. So I do want to see them get to the other side of this. A lot of good stuff there and a lot of good company. So we do want to see that. Hey, Joe, great to have you with us tonight. TV, upfront spending expected to decline by 27% this year, according to an eMarketer. So TV advertising is expected to hit about $14 billion in ad commitments this year, down from previous forecasts of $21 billion due to the fallout of COVID-19. Okay, there still will be other ad spending on top of that, but it's an expected decline in ad spend of between 22 and 29%, which means there's some good buying opportunities in advertising all the way around, because people are watching things, okay, as they're stuck at home. So don't forget that. Target, in the news again, raises their minimum wage to $15 an hour months before its deadline. Okay, this was something Target had put in place anyways, that they were going to raise all their staff to $15 an hour, but they're going to do that starting July 5th. And they will also receive a one-time bonus of $200 to recognize their work during the coronavirus pandemic. They had previously pledged to raise their minimum wage by the end of 2020, so they're doing it a few months early. But they've also, during this time, reduced their head count, so keep that in mind too. Okay, so they're keeping the better, they're adding automation, they're doing things to offset that. And it's, they've been increasing hourly pay to 10 to 15 over 3 years. It raised the minimum wage to $13 an hour last June and pledged to have it to 15 by the end of 2020. I mean, really, they're trying to stay one step ahead of state mandates. The federal minimum wage is still 7.25, but many states have raised it to 15 or in the process of. So they're just trying to stay one step ahead of it. Yeah, I mean, and it's a small number of employees when you get how long they've had to be employed, and when you get into the weeds of it, Edwin, it's really nothing, even if you are a $15 an hour employee. Steinmart warns it might not survive the pandemic. We've heard this before from other retailers. Steinmart disclosed there's substantial doubt about its ability to survive over the next year after COVID-19 crisis hurts its cash flow. The discount retailer said that issued its going concern warning as part of its filing, and it's actively exploring additional sources of financing to provide us with additional liquidity and other strategic alternatives, including the sale of the company. Company added, however, there is no assurance that such efforts will be successful. They've actually been in search for a buyer for more than 2 years. A private equity suitor agreed to buy the retailer at 90 cents per share, which was a 38% premium on the company's stock at the time. But the deal fell through in April after the pandemic hit, and Steinmart was forced to temporarily close its stores. And these days the retailer is trading at even less than it was before it struck a deal with Kingswood. Roughly 44 cents a share. And its exit from the public markets has evaporated. Steinmart said when the merger was canceled that COVID-19 pandemic created uncertainty regarding its ability to satisfy the conditions for closing and other issues. Steinmart's a good company. We'll see where that goes. So, I'm still hopeful for these old department stores. They bring a lot of nostalgia, and they still have a lot of good meaning for the communities they serve. Oh, and most definitely, Edwin, the $200 will be taxed, so don't forget that. You are correct. Wayfair is becoming the Amazon of the home goods market. With people spending more time at home than ever, furnishing home offices and upgrading living rooms has become a top priority for shelter-in-place shoppers. And that has been great news for Wayfair. Wayfair, the relatively young home decor and online furniture, it's like Amazon of furniture and home accessories, connecting shoppers to over 18 million products. Since COVID-19, shares in the company have skyrocketed. Some people believe that Wayfair may be benefiting more from COVID-19 than almost any other single company except for Instacart. Quarantine was a great time to be in the online furniture game if you had your digital marketplace in order. While the doors of traditional retailers such as IKEA, Raymore, and Flanagan were shut because of stay-at-home orders, Wayfair remained open for business. Williams-Sonoma, which operates Pottery Barn and West Elm, has a strong online business too. The company claims to be one of the biggest e-commerce retailers. It said 56% of its revenue in 2019 was derived from online sales. The online business helped Williams-Sonoma weather the storm, but it's putting Wayfair on the map and helping it to win new customers. Its first quarter sales grew almost 20% from a year earlier and shares soared. However, the business model of nightstands, credenzas, bed sofas, sending them free shipping, guaranteeing the fact that the customer is going to like the product and going to come not damaged, is a high-risk business. While Wayfair in 2019 generated more than $9 billion in sales, the company lost almost $1 billion this year, and they've burned through money even faster this year. In 2019, the company spent over $1 billion on advertising alone, and investors remain wary of Wayfair's path to profitability. It doesn't exist. Kelly, it's the same all over. I mean, you can order things, you can get a deal. You know, I have a friend that ordered some stuff, and it was nothing but trouble and redelivery after redelivery. But it looks they try to make it easy, at least on the upfront side. There's actually a Wayfair store here in Massachusetts at one of the malls. They have a store. Which was even a bigger joke than ordering online from them. Try to get service in that store, forget it, it's a self-service stores. And it is interesting. So I like the concept, but shipping isn't free, their costs are high, and the only reason they're still in existence is because of venture capital. And so if you can take advantage by buying something and get something cheap, I'm with you. But the idea of it being profitable, I'm not seeing in their current model, because if they charge the prices they need to for what they're doing, they're not going to get there. Our buddies at the Mall of America missed another payment on their mortgage debt. Shopping center has missed 3 $7 million mortgage payments as it struggles during the coronavirus shutdown and job losses. Their mortgage is a total of a $1.4 billion mortgage with a $7 million a month payment, and now more than 60 days delinquent. So we'll see where that goes. It is a catchy thing. They got good advertising, Michelle. I give Wayfair lots of credit on lots of fronts, but running a profitable business, I do not, and they fully admit that they don't. So, you know, I could do lots of things if I had venture capital. And I wasn't responsible for being profitable. Okay, if I wasn't responsible to my suppliers, my employees, and my shareholders for actually being profitable, I could do phenomenal things. It would be amazing what I could do. Courts will not force Osha to issue emergency COVID-19 standards. A federal appeals court declined to force U.S. Department of Labor's Occupational Safety and Health Administration to issue temporary emergency workplace standards in light of COVID-19 pandemic. AFL-CIO had requested an emergency standard on infectious diseases. The court said while OSHA is authorized to issue emergency standards if it determines that workers are in grave danger, it is entitled to considerable deference. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce argued against such a standard, arguing that the agency reasonably decided that coupling OSHA's existing safety standards with flexible industry-specific guidance informed by evolving scientific understanding is enough to protect workers from the coronavirus. So that's actually good news for business, that there's no OSHA standard. Okay. Dick's Sporting Goods is to open 2 new store concepts. Dick's Sporting Goods is adding 2 outlet and clearance store banners to its portfolio. The sporting goods retailer is expanding its nationwide footprint with the opening of Overtime by Dick's Sporting Goods and Dick's Sporting Goods Warehouse. Dick's first entered the outlet space last year with the opening of 3 clearance centers in Utica, Michigan, Spartanburg, South Carolina, and Racine, Wisconsin. The Overtime format will offer an expansive assortment of apparel, footwear, and equipment from familiar Dick's brands such as Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour at up to 75% off regular prices. New markdowns will be added throughout the year to keep inventory fresh. 3 Overtime stores open on June 16th with locations in Connecticut Commons, Plainville, Connecticut, the Center at Hagerstown, Maryland, and Liberty Plaza, Philadelphia. In addition, the company recently opened 5 Dick's Sporting Goods warehouse sale locations, which will offer deeper discounts on customer favorite footwear and apparel brands at up to 90% off. These clearance-styled stores will provide a pop-up style shopping experience during the next 6 months. The locations are in Avon, Indiana, St. Peters, Missouri, North Olmsted, Ohio, South Hills, Pennsylvania, and Brookfield, Wisconsin. With the new openings, Dick's will have 11 outlet and clearance centers open in 9 different states. They operate 726 Dick's namesake stores across the U.S., in addition to Golf Galaxy and Field and Stream specialty stores. In a quote to inspire, invest in relationships. Life is hard. None of us has the strength to do it alone. We need people to encourage and inspire us so we can encourage and inspire others. Boom. Yes, it does. Yes, we do. Okay. Now, are you buckled up and ready for some heavy stuff? Are you ready? Are you ready tonight? We got a lot of heavy stuff to cover here tonight. Buckle up. Here we go. For those of you that did not get in on American Idol, if you did not get in on American Idol, the Idol has reopened. Even if you don't have a farm, apply for the Idol loan. You can do it at sba.gov. Thank you, Michelle. The loan they're still saying is at $150. I've heard rumor it's going to drop to $100, but you can get your application in now. If you have not previously applied for an Idol, get your application in now. Why do you want to get your application in now? Because it's insurance. The Idol, I am not encouraging debt on you. I am not wishing you debt. I am wishing you insurance. I want you to get to the other side. We don't know what the next 6 months, the next 3 months, the next year looks like. I am incredibly optimistic on it, but we don't know for sure. So, since I don't have a crystal ball and I don't know for sure, I am telling you to get this and put it aside for insurance. That way, if you have it aside and you need it, it will help get you to the other side. If you don't need it, when the first payment is due in a year, you can take the money and pay it off. And when you pay it off, you'll pay a small amount of interest for that money for a year. That is the cost of insurance. Just look at it that way, just like you have fire insurance but haven't had a fire. You'll hear it is taking more than 60 days at this point, Michelle, for the Idol. More than 60 days. It went from 30 days to 45 to more than 60, probably 75 plus days. But you will hear and you will get the portal. They had prioritized some agriculture businesses, and now they're taking it from all again. And so we will get there. Your application will be processed, Michelle. I promise you. I've had worked with people this week that have gotten their loans. It is coming. I forget where you are on my list off the top of my head, but I know, especially if you got the advance, you will get the loan portal application. And Rick, you know, it is a little bit. You know, I mean, it depends on the retailer and their clearancing. I mean, it's funny, you know, Burlington stores are clearancing all their winter. Actually, I was dealing, a consignment store up here posted today about their winter clearance sale, and I'm just like, did you not go into your store at all since March? And I'm okay that they have stuff to clearance, but to get your shopper shopping, you need to have the right merchandise on the floor. And, you know, they will come back, but you know, you do need to, you know, pricing is an active science at any time, and it certainly is during this pandemic. But we have been selling a mix of both full price goods, because we do automatic markdowns, as many of you know, and certainly we didn't go retag everything. We tagged items over $50. We retagged, but we did not retag items below that, which is the bulk of our item count. And with that, you know, people are getting some deals, but there's also plenty of full price merchandise because we kept on dating ahead for people. So it will all work out. But let's keep things moving. Hey, Lisa, great to have you joining us. I like what Canada's doing. Pricing is a dance, Michelle. It is not a set it and forget it. Lisa, I hope you're doing well and getting the wage subsidy and the extension of the wage subsidy worked out for you up there in Canada. Love what Canada's doing, even though it's not perfect. The extension of it, the way they did it, is almost like they listened to something in America. But overall, the whole thing is good, so I hope you're taking advantage of that. So, our friends at the SBA and Treasury issued lots of stuff today. So that is where we are going. Buckle up. Here we go, people. We start with the revisions to the 3rd and 6th interim final rules. Doesn't that speak government for you? And when you dance through the 3rd and 6th interim rules, here's what matters. Okay, owner compensation, and I know a lot of you are interested in that. So owner compensation does not change if you use the 8-week plan for the PPP. If you use the 8-week plan for the PPP, owner compensation is limited to 8 seconds of your 2019 income. That has not changed, okay, and will not change. Okay, 8 seconds of your 2019 income if you are using the 8-week calculation. However, if you 4-week covered period, okay, you are able to expand that to 2.5 months of income. So not a lot more, okay, but a little bit. So you're able to take 2019 income, divide it by 12, and multiply it by 2.5. And you are allowed to do that as an owner or shareholder of 2019 income if you elect for the 24-week period to use the money. So that is an important distinction. Okay, so on the 8 weeks, that limits you to the 15 grand that I've been talking about all along. On the 2.5 months, that raises it to almost $21,000, $20,800. $20,800 is your limit if you use the 24-week period. So it gets you a little bit more, okay, and that's important. Every little bit more is better if you need the time. If you don't need the time, then that's okay, and we're going to cover that. Because there's more. Your government was busy today generating documents. Let's see what we got here. What is up next? 1, 2, that's 5. Okay, so you'll remember the PPP loan forgiveness application in its first version was a high quality, for those of you that remember and have studied this, a high quality 11 pages of fun. 11 pages of fun. Well, they have taken the time to update it today, and I know that will excite you. Totally, I can see you going, woo, I am excited! New PPP forgiveness app to decide to look at. Woo, woo, woo. Doing the dance. I got it. Dancing isn't just for pricing, it's for the PPP too. Well, they have changed it. They have changed it. And now the forgiveness application is 5 pages plus an additional 7 pages. Okay, so they separated it out. And now the forgiveness application is 7 pages. And is 5 pages. And the instructions for the forgiveness application, which are now separate, is an additional 7 pages. So we've gone from 11 pages to 12 pages. Isn't that exciting? Well, I'm not going to cover one of these pages because I've got something better. I've got something better for you. What would be better, you say? What would be better, Neil? I can hear you. Can I hear you? Some of you are going to start thinking I had a martini with my lunch. I'm getting that feeling. Park is just like, will you tell me already? But I can't hear you. Oh, thank God. Idiots. That is your government, Kitty. That is our government, okay? They would develop the best iron lung, okay? What's that quote? You know, your government would, if they were in charge of all medicine, would give you the best iron lung, not a lung transplant. Okay? What will be better, Bob? That's the kind of attitude I am liking. Thank you, Michelle, Kelly, Bonnie. All right. Auto forgiveness would be better. Auto forgiveness would be better. But how about what would we see now? My audience listens. Now we have an interactive program. I am feeling it now. I need a way to take callers in on this show so that you can actually call in and I can put your voice in on this show. Well, what would be easier is if, like, they read my letter the other day, I spelled it all out for them in writing and everything. Yeah, so I like Bonnie's idea too, except for Bonnie's idea is really Park's idea, because Park's typing for Bonnie. Okay? Because Bonnie hasn't bought Park a membership, an associate membership in the association, so he can have his own identity. But maybe after tonight she will. Maybe. Just maybe. I mean, granted, he's just hoping to get paid out of all this. What would be better is if they listened to Neil and created, I don't know, an easy form, like your 1040 easy. How about your PPP easy? And what if I were to tell you that I got it right here, the PPP easy form? Boom, done. 2 pages, 2 pages, 1 page double-sided. Okay, the front page, all the numbers and who you are. The back page, your self-certification. Technically, there's a 3rd page should you decide to let them know your demographic. Whether you are a veteran, what your gender is, which they are being progressive. You can be male, female, or X, not disclosed. Your race, and your ethnicity. Okay, that is technically page 3. They do listen to Neil. I mean, this is like the form I wrote. This is exactly, if you look at what I wrote Congress the other day and spelled this out to them, I wrote this all out the other day. And I don't need 0 credit. 0. Okay, this doesn't need to be the Neil form. Okay. But this is what I wrote out to Congress the other day. And now there is the PPP-EZ. Okay, and there are some instructions for it. Okay, but even the instructions are only a couple of pages. 1 page, both sides, Suki. Super easy. So we're going to step through it. But let me first step through what qualifies you to be able to use the EZ form versus the long form. Okay, you have to meet one of 3 conditions to be able to use the EZ form. So think like taxes. Okay, again, this is the government, and the wording of this is a little complicated. So I am positive we will be talking about this again tomorrow night. Okay, and probably the night after, just to make sure everybody's on board. But these forms, okay, these forms that I have for you, including the EZ form and the long form, will be posted tonight on the NARTS private Facebook group. Tonight, they will be posted. It will also then be posted by noon tomorrow to narts.org/resalestrong. It's like magic. It just happens. I don't know. I have a whole flock of people that just make everything happen. Cassandra and Adele make it all happen. Okay? So let's go through what your certifications are that you have to be able to do. You have to be able to do one of these three things. You have to be able to attest to one of these three things to be able to use the EZ form. Okay? Option number 1. The borrower is a self-employed individual, independent contractor, or sole proprietor who had no employees at the time of PPP loan application and did not include any employee salaries in the computation of average monthly payroll in the borrower application form. So that is the first option to be able to use. So if you are a sole proprietor, okay, and you have no employees, it's just you can check the box. You get to use the EZ form. That is option number 1. Option number 2. The borrower did not reduce annual salary or hourly wages of any employee by more than 25% during the covered period, or the alternative covered period as defined, compared to the period between January 1st, 2020 and March 31st. For the purpose of this statement, employees means only those employees that did not receive during any single period during 2019 wages or salaries at an annualized rate of pay in the amount of more than $100,000. And the borrower did not reduce the number of employees or the average paid hours of employees between January 1st and the end of the covered period. Ignore reductions that arose from the inability to rehire individuals who were employees on February 15 if the borrower was unable to hire similarly qualified employees for unfilled positions on or before December 31st. Also, ignore reductions in an employee's hours that the borrower offered to restore and the employee refused. Hey, okay? Hey, Tiffany, thanks for joining us. So that is option number 2. If you can meet that, you can use the EZ form. Option number 3. The borrower did not reduce the annual salary or hourly wages of any employee by more than 25% during the covered period or the alternate covered period, compared to the period between January 1st and March 31st. For purposes of this statement, employees means only those employees that did not receive during any single period during 2019 wages or salaries at an annualized rate of pay in the amount of more than $100,000. And the borrower was unable to operate during the covered period at the same level of business activity as before February 15th due to compliance with requirements established or guidance issued between March 1st and December 31st by the Secretary of Health and Human Services, the Director of the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, or the Occupational Safe and Health Administration related to the maintenance of standards of sanitation, social distancing, or any other work safety requirement related to COVID-19. If you can check at least one of the 3 boxes above, complete the Form EZ in accordance with the instructions below and submit it to your lender. Borrowers may also complete this application electronically through the lender. If you're not able to check one of the boxes, you have to use the long form. Kelly, you get to use the short form. Yes, it's a long sentence. It's the government. Most everybody that I have worked with will be able to use the short form. That's the answer. You'll either qualify for the second or third one. Okay, it is government speak. I did say This is good news, but it is in government speak. Okay, it sounds more complicated than it is. And I will walk all of you through your individual situations. I know my email box is going to blow up. I was so proud of myself at getting it down below 30. But I know it is going to blow up. Russ, you're going to take a while to get your response. Okay, but it's going to blow up. Okay, and that's okay because I want to get all of you through this. It is Neil, N-E-I-L, at ECIstores.com. Neil, N-E-I-L, at ECIstores.com. What's the easy part? So when you get to the actual application, okay, it asks you what your PPP loan number was, what the lender's PPP loan number was, who you are as a business, did you get an idle advance, how many employees you had at the beginning, how many employees you have now, what your frequency of payroll is, okay, what is the covered period. Then it just asks really simple questions. How much did you spend of the PPP on payroll costs? How much did you spend on business, mortgage, and interest payments? How much of it did you spend on business rent or lease payments? How much of it did you spend on business utility payments? Add the amounts together. Subtract the PPP loan amounts. As long as 60% was spent on payroll, enter the forgiveness amount, which hopefully is the total of the PPP loan. Then on the back, right, Jeff, exactly. Park's still screwed in this, Bonnie, sorry. Unless you take it out 24 weeks, but then he only gets, you know, another half a month of last year's pay, so Park is still up the creek. Right, exactly, Jeff. Employees that are afraid to come back, that's fine. You're off the hook for their FTEs, and it's a self-certification on that. Yes, I'm talking about going through forgiveness, Alexa. Number 3 was basically most people are either going to fall into number 2 or number 3, Bonnie. Okay, where you didn't reduce or people didn't come back. Or the biggest thing that number 3 allows is that you weren't allowed to operate. So the biggest thing that option number 3 is, under government restriction, you weren't allowed to operate. Okay, and that qualifies you for the EZ form. Yes, so this is just about forgiveness, Alexa. I'm still optimistic that we're going to get the option for another PPP later this year, but right now this is just about simplifying forgiveness. Yes, it is tremendously good news, Michelle. It is actually very good news. It makes the process, it is going to make the forgiveness process much easier, okay? You just have to look at the difference between, okay, this is the long form. This is page 1 of the long form. This is page 1 of the EZ form. It is incredibly simpler. You're required to keep, okay, so that's a great question, Lisa. Do you need a formal letter from employees who can't come back because of health reasons? You're not required to submit it with the application, okay? You are not required to submit it with the application for forgiveness, but you are required to keep it on file, okay? So with the forgiveness application, you will have to submit things such as payroll ledgers and stuff. Beats the heck out of the 11 pages. Yes, it does. So you'll have to submit evidence of, such as a payroll journal and stuff for your payroll expenses, and canceled checks and stuff for your non-payroll expenses. But documents that each borrower needs to keep on file, okay, because on the back of it, so the back of this is all self-certifications. Okay, you are certifying that the dollar amount for which forgiveness is requested was used to pay costs that are eligible for forgiveness. Includes payroll costs at least equal to 60% of the forgiven amount. Does not exceed 2.5 months of shareholder income. I understand that the funds knowingly were used for unauthorized purposes. The federal government may pursue recovery. Okay, you're self-certifying the borrower did not reduce salary or wages by more than 25% for any employee during the covered period. That you have verified the payments for the eligible payroll. That you self-certified that you submitted documentation to your lender verifying your payroll costs. That the information provided in this application and the information provided in all supporting documents and forms is true and correct in all material respects. The tax documents that you submitted, if any, are consistent with those the borrower has submitted and will submit to the IRS or state tax or workforce agency. You acknowledge that the SBA can come back and ask for additional information, okay, for the purposes of evaluating your eligibility. And you are certifying that one of the following: the borrower either did not reduce the number of employees or the average paid hours of employees between January 1st and the end of the covered period, other than in reductions that arose from the inability to rehire individuals who are employees on February 15th. If the borrower was unable to hire similarly qualified employees for unfilled positions that the borrower offered to restore and refuse. Or the borrower was unable to operate between February 15th and the end of the covered period at the same level of business activity as before February 15th due to compliance with requirements established or guidance issued between March 1st and December 31st, okay, by government authorities. So that is what you are attesting. That is the back page, which is a whole bunch of boxes to initial. The back of page 1, the other part that you actually have to fill out, is just initialing a whole bunch of boxes, self-certifying. Very easy stuff. Okay? Documents that you submit, okay, with it are the payroll documents and supporting checks for expenses. Documents that you must keep on file but do not have to submit. Documentation supporting to the certification that salaries or hourly wages were not reduced during the period. Okay. Documentation regarding any employee job offers and refusals to accept restoration of reduction in hours, firings for cause, voluntary resignations, written requests by an employee for reductions in the work schedule, and any inability to hire similarly qualified employees. Documentation supporting the certification, if applicable, that the borrower did not reduce the number of employees. Documentation supporting the certification, if applicable, that the borrower was unable to operate between February 15th and the end of the covered period at the same level of business activity as before February 15th. All these documents relating to this need to be held for 6 years. So, yeah, it is a huge, okay? When you get right down to it, it is huge. We'll be talking about it and delving into it for the next several days. But this is huge. It makes forgiveness very easy for almost everyone that I have worked with during this period. I cannot be happier with the EZ form. Okay? The long form, I want to keep everybody I can out of it. Okay? But the EZ form is going to be great. It will be posted here to NART's private Facebook page within the hour. And it will be available at narts.org/resalestrong tomorrow by noon. I can promise you that. Okay, including this video. And I am positive we'll be talking about it again tomorrow night. Okay, because I am sure you will have more questions. And your questions will come to me at Neil, N-E-I-L, at ECIstores.com. N-E-I-L at ECIstores.com is where you email me. All the information is narts.org/resalestrong, narts.org/resalestrong, including these videos, which are also on the YouTube channel. You're not alone running this store, so don't forget that. Share it with all your friends. Let's get everybody through to the other side. Every night we start with the Good Morning, Good Night book. Every night we start with the Good Morning, Good Night book. For those of you that were not here at the beginning of the program, our good morning tonight was, good morning. Your worst fears about yourself only need a drop of attention and sunlight to grow quick and wreck your whole shit. Clear away those weeds. Take time to harvest your strength and your joys. Water and sunlight to the best in you. Our good night tonight is, good night. Doubts may grow as shadows looms. When you're alone with your thoughts, plant music, art, pics of the ones you love in the darkest corners. Harvest the fruits of your daydreams and rest. Water and sunlight to the best in you. That was page 128 and 129, kitty. But we're gonna get to the other side of this. We're gonna even get Park and get Bonnie not to be a ditch digger. Okay? And it's all gonna get us to the other side because you are not alone running this store. We're all going to the other side. Email me your questions, Neil, N-E-I-L at ECIstores.com, N-E-I-L at ECIstores.com. I'll be back here again tomorrow night because it's important that you, but most especially you, yeah, I'm pointing at you, are not alone running this store. It's time for dinner, everybody. Have a great night.